All right, Rubus, as usual, we're live. Any ideas for a cold open?
Ooh, nah. It's Friday.
Happy Friday, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. Of course, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Make sure you join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always by the blind mouse who's wearing his glasses today. That's of
Not
course
blind today, baby.
Erik Ruby. We've got Noah behind the Mac making all of the magic happen. Do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. We got Jake in here. We got Glenn. We got, of course, the one, the only Rubus himself. Parker as well. We made it to double digits. 99 days away till Arizona State kicks off the 2025 season. And man, we have an absolute banger of a show today.
Oof.
Talking about Sam Leavitt in the future of the Arizona State Sun Devil football program. Obviously, if you're a college football fan, you're pumped to watch Sam Leavitt compete at Arizona State this season. Hopefully bring back-to-back Big 12 championships to the Sun Devil faithful. But the question of the day is, does Sam Leavitt have to do what Marcus Mariota did at Oregon? Does he have to do what Trevor Lawrence did at Clemson? The two programs that Kenny Dillingham has brought up before in talking about, okay, Arizona State, if you're going to be a perennial powerhouse, feels like every decade there's a new one, right? Mid-2000s, you had your Oregon. A little bit later on in the 2010s, you had Trevor Lawrence's Clemson Tigers. Is the mid-2020s going to be the Arizona State Sun Devils? And how much of that falls on Sam Leavitt's shoulders? So it's certainly going to be one hell of a show. We've got Noah. We rarely get Noah behind the Mac.
Super excited for Noah.
It is Friday, so we are going to have a hot or not at the tail end of today's show. I love everybody throwing in under 100 days. Dude. This is where Sun Devil sickos come here, getting ready for that Arizona State season. Before we get into Sam Leavitt and all that fun stuff, is everybody ready to have a banger of a show?
Something special is happening today.
Something special is happening today.
Chat is on fire.
Yeah.
Especially for a Friday, just right off the bat, everybody's ripping. You just went for like 2 minutes and just hyped me the hell up. Yeah, we've been live for like 4 minutes at this point.
Wow.
And you were just getting me pumped and excited and
just
juiced.
Slowly.
I mean, this is the type of May content that I live for, because the type of May content we were doing last year
was sad.
And the years beforehand,
it was sad.
Not great.
It was good content. It was just sad to talk about. That's it. That's it. We're at a
lot more basketball talk.
A lot more. Yeah, geez, that was bad,
but
man.
this is exciting, and I think it's exciting because it might sound like hyperbole from the outside, but I think in an unbiased perspective, if you just put it out there, like there's a case for all of this, to see the similarities and to see the path. But first, Sun Devil Simp 24 in the chat.
Great name, by the way.
Says, it's my dad's birthday. Can you shout him out? His name is Joe. Please. What up, Joe?
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe.
I guess we should have asked if Joe is a Sun Devil fan, because that makes a difference. If Joe's not a Sun Devil fan, I rescind my happy birthday.
No, as long as he's not a Wildcat fan. But I would assume Sun Devil Simp 24's dad is not a U of A fan.
I would hope not. I would absolutely hope not.
Here's the thing. Joe, this episode is for you.
Wow.
Okay.
You've dedicated the entire episode
The May
to Joe?
23rd, 2025 episode is for Sun Devil Simp 24's dad, Joe, because it is his birthday.
Glenn, born ready. Absolutely love to see it. Zachary saying Sun Devil football is the only successful sports team in the Valley right now. And it's super sweet. Isn't it? Isn't it sweet to be able to be the lone shining bright star in the valley right now?
Would Arizona State stole everybody's soul to win a Big 12
That's fine,
championship?
man. That's cool. I don't care. I really
Can
don't.
we have just left the Suns out of it?
I mean,
no,
things come at a cost.
Yeah, things do come at a cost, but if it brings us a Sam Leavitt Heisman, then it might just be worth it all. Sharon asks, is Noah the therapist, or am I remembering that wrong?
No, that is Zach.
Zach is the therapist.
I don't like that word.
Therapist? Therapy, hot or not?
Hot. No, Noah is the Suns producer, and so he's been slumming it up over there. But
just in the grind of the offseason for PHNX Suns?
Just having to deal with me and Steven.
Yeah, I know it's tough. I know it's tough.
But you know it's not tough?
Getting to watch Sam Leavitt play quarterback?
Damn right.
Dude, look, and I've wanted to have this conversation now for a couple weeks. I just didn't know the right time to do it, and it just so happened today was the day that we could kind of cram this conversation in, because I do feel like this is something that's going to take pretty much the bulk of today's show.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are maybe just more recent college football fans, as Arizona State has started to really get good and aren't too familiar with Marcus Mariota and Trevor Lawrence at what they did at their respective universities, we'll take you through everything that they did. And I'd love to pose a question to the chat afterwards, is kind of, does Sam Leavitt need to mirror what those two did? Mm-hmm. Is it even possible for Sam to do it? Because we expect Sam to be gone after this season, when Mariota was at Oregon for 3 seasons,
right?
When Trevor Lawrence was at Clemson for 3 seasons. Does Sam need to go even further than they did in this 1 year to carry on and elevate this program to the way that Mariota did Oregon, to the way that Lawrence did Clemson? Or does maybe he need to come back for that third and likely final season, even though we think the finality of his college career is this year, to truly take on this program at Arizona State as a powerhouse? Because Dilly said it before, right? You don't want to be the flash in the pan. And I know it's not just ASU. You've got obviously Kurt Cignetti, the I believe Indiana coach, saying that they don't want to be a flash in the pan. Same thing at SMU. Like all of these one-off teams,
teams that didn't win in the college football playoff,
or the teams that it's not even that they didn't win. Now, of course, they didn't win it, but it's more so of the you got in the playoff and there were people barking that you shouldn't have even gotten there.
Why? And especially with the first round buys that they changed now for this upcoming season.
The Boise State rule.
People were upset about a lot of teams, including Arizona State. But that's also just in any sport, right?
Yeah.
You have one good season. A lot of people will acknowledge that one good season, but if you're coming off of a lot of bad seasons, it's like, all right, let's see you do it again.
100%.
Like that is a step that every good team to great team has to make.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We got Joe in the chat.
I love it. This is awesome. The chat is absolutely firing on all birthday boy cylinders today. Sharon saying Sparky stealing souls, but it is worth it. Ooh. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like the Sun Devil fan base in here, us, at least me, I don't know about you. I'm totally fine sacrificing
every other team,
Valley sports team for Arizona State success. Can we just not have to sell our soul in
Arizona for like a sliver of sports success? Can we just spread
you got a
the
championship out of it?
Can we? That's true. And I'm thrilled. Don't get me wrong. I'm thrilled about the championship, especially the fact that we got to be there. And then, of course, as all of you know, what happened afterwards. But the fact that why can't we have more than one good thing at once? Why?
I don't know.
When the Suns were good, ASU couldn't be good too.
I don't make the rules, man.
Why can't ASU basketball be good along with ASU football?
I don't make the rules.
Thank God we have hockey.
I don't make the rules, man. I just follow them. Getting back to Sam in this program, we've talked about Oregon and Clemson a little bit, right? Right after Dilly had made those comments during spring ball. And I kind of want to go through again, just giving everybody some not behind the scenes, but some context to realistically what these programs did, right? So Oregon for a while, realistically, when we get to about 2008, they really sprung off. They had a 10-3 season, then another 10-3 season. Then in 2010 was a big year. They lost the BCS championship game. They went 12-1, a really, really solid year. After that, 12-2, then 12-1. And this is where Marcus Mariota starts to come into play, right? He comes into play in 2012. He's there through 2014. In 2012, Oregon went 12-1. They won the Fiesta Bowl. Okay. Then the following year, they go 11-2. They win the Alamo Bowl, which at the time felt like a bigger bowl game than where it is now.
Not this past year, but the year before that, the Alamo Bowl was the real Big 12 championship.
And there's also,
or was that last year too?
It was last year too,
Yeah,
I think.
sorry.
There wasn't as many bowl games at that point in time, right? So that was a big win. And then in the year after, the final year of Marcus Mariota in 2014, they went 13-2. They won the Rose Bowl and they lost the national championship. So it was 3 straight seasons of just pure dominance, but not only in the regular season, but also making it to a national championship game, winning the Rose Bowl.
Right.
Like that was, for me, peak Oregon. You had Marcus Mariota go number 2 in the NFL draft, and it's like, okay, the Oregon Ducks, they're here, right? Now, like I said, they had good years before that, but stringing together bowl win after bowl win after bowl win, because you look back, right, when they had that 12-1 season, they lost the BCS championship game. The year after, 2011, they won the Rose Bowl. Then, like I said, 2012, you win the Fiesta Bowl. Prior to that, before they lost the BCS championship game, they lost the Rose Bowl, they won the Holiday Bowl, they won the Sun Bowl, they lost the Vegas Bowl, lost the Holiday Bowl. Like, it wasn't necessarily as consistent in the postseason as well, right? They'd have good to a slightly above average seasons and then not necessarily take it anywhere. And so it was a phenomenal stretch for Oregon, and I almost forgot what Marcus Mariota accomplished in college as a quarterback. We talk about Sam Leavitt's numbers, right, all the time, and how we're like, okay, like those were solid numbers, right? Let me just read you what Marcus Mariota did for the Oregon Ducks, right? And keep this in mind. We're going to have a conversation later. Does Sam need to do this to get Arizona State on the map the way that Oregon and Clemson were? As a true freshman.
Can I guess?
Sure, you can guess. What was his completion percentage as a true freshman?
72%.
68.5%.
Okay.
How many passing yards? His best year, by the way, was 2014. So this is his freshman season.
But but that's 2012.
This is 2012.
To clarify.
Yes.
Okay. Give me 3,300.
2,600 passing yards.
You set my expectations really high.
This is where it starts to get a little ridiculous. Passing touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns his freshman year?
Passing touchdowns as a true freshman.
20.
32. Interceptions, just 6. He also had 752 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. Okay? Solid year.
That's a great year. As a true freshman.
2013. He's a sophomore now at Oregon. Mind you, this is the year that they went on to win the Alamo Bowl. They were an 11-2 football team. Okay? Completion percentage, 63.5. So it went down significantly. His worst completion percentage that he had in college. Do you want to guess passing yards?
How many more attempts did he have this year, though?
This year, he only had 50 more attempts.
Okay. How many yards? Does he crack 3K this time?
He does.
3.2.
3,200?
Yeah.
3,600 passing yards. 31 passing touchdowns to just 4 interceptions.
But his completion percentage went down.
His completion percentage did go down. He also ran for 715 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns that season. Here we go. As a junior, the season that they won the Rose Bowl and lost the national championship.
Just give it to me.
68.3 completion percentage.
Back up.
Threw for 4,400 passing yards. 42 touchdowns through the air.
Gross.
And 4 interceptions.
That's so gross.
And on the ground, mind you, he threw for 42 touchdowns.
That's so gross.
He ran for 770 yards and rushed for 15 touchdowns and caught a touchdown as well that season. He had 60 touchdowns as a junior to 4 interceptions that year.
That's gross.
It was one of the most disgusting.
That's got to be in conversations for one of the best in college football history.
It's not what Joe Burrow did that one year at LSU, but it was certainly a ridiculous season.
Oh my God.
And that was the year, right? Everybody was watching Marcus Mariota's Oregon Ducks. You go back, and there are stories, right? Marcus Mariota goes on like podcasts, I think Bussin' with the Boys, and like you go back to Oregon, and like that's Mariota's place, right?
Why read the stats again?
Yeah, again, like
why? Think about what Sam Leavitt did this last year, right? And this is becoming slowly Sam Leavitt's place, or Cam Scadaboo, right? You look at that type of path, and you wonder, can anybody at ASU from this era, do that? Right? Can anybody reach those heights as an individual player and as a team? right? And last year's team had a great combination of success with that. Top 5 Heisman candidate, right? Big 12 champion, lost in the college football playoffs. But what we're talking about there is being the best player in college football, point blank, period.
A guy that through 3 years, 105 touchdowns to just 14 interceptions.
And had the team success to do it on a big scale, Power 5 level, like dominant. And that's the thing, is does Sam Leavitt need to do this with only 2 years? If he wants to be seen in the same conversations, yeah. But if he wants to have the same type of impact that Marcus Mariota had on Oregon,
which is what we're talking about, right? It's impact.
If we're talking about impact versus literal player-to-player on-field comparisons as far as one of the single greatest quarterback seasons in college football history, I think those are two different scales for me.
Yeah.
Right? If he wants to be held on the same level as a Marcus Mariota as an individual player, especially only having 2 years under his belt, he's got to have as good of a peak of a season.
Yeah.
Which is insane, right? Maybe that's literally what the absolute ceiling could be for Sam Leavitt.
That's a ceiling for college football players in general.
So, and we all know, I mean, Sam Leavitt has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're talking literal best case scenario, does he have the tools to do that? Sure. Only a handful of people have ever done anything close to that.
I think he's got the weapons around him.
And I think he could have a great all-time college football season and be a top Heisman candidate and not put those numbers up.
Yeah.
Right? But for Arizona State, for the next 10 years, to establish like a path of being at least consistently relevant and competent, and then at some points peaking and being dominant, he's just got to have another good to great season, better numbers than last year, and the team success has to be the same, right? He doesn't necessarily need to reach the individual peak to help do that, but the team has to be the same.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Or improve on.
That's what we're talking about, right? Is does Sam have to do X, Y, and Z to get Arizona State to where Oregon and Clemson are today, right? Because what Clemson and Trevor Lawrence did, what Oregon and Mariota did, this was years and years and years ago. But you look today, modern time, they've withstood new coaches. They've withstood new quarterbacks, new talent around them, and they've still managed to be like ridiculous programs when these were the guys realistically that were the first domino, right? They had good seasons before, but it's about a stretch.
Well, and not just the first domino, but those teams and those players will go down as far as like era defining.
They are. Marcus Mariota absolutely was defining.
And Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence, not just at your school, but that era of college football was defined by those players and those teams.
Yeah.
Obviously other players and other teams as well, but they're in the conversation for top teams of those stretches of years and the top, if not the top players, right? You have that type of peak, that's so memorable that it automatically helps you just on your path forward as far as investment. And now NIL, but back then, like, you know, donors to the program for the facilities and your national perspective, right? If they want to do that, then that's a high bar. We're talking compete for a national championship and be in contention for a number 1 pick, which are all things that we mentioned Sam Leavitt could do. But it has to be surefire. And it has to be, I think, Arizona State as well. You know, there's this preconceived notion beforehand of just kind of underrating what they can do. So there has to be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It can't just be close wins like it was last year. You know, there can't be a first half and second half of the season stat graphic with Sam Leavitt.
No, it's got to be
with a drop off. Yeah. It's got to be look at this person who is in contention for the best player to be on the field this year.
Yeah,
you know, that's what it has to be.
It's got to be dominance, right? Appreciate you, Glenn, in the chat with that last comment. Dennis saying any information regarding football recruits making visits? Yeah, there are no recruits making visits to ASU this weekend. Look, we visited the Oregon side of things. We're going to get to Clemson and talk a little bit more about, does Sam Leavitt have to meet these expectations? Does he have to be closer to Mariota? Does he have to be closer to Lawrence? Because there is a little bit of a gap between what they did in terms of team success and also individual success. And then where does he have to go in the draft to kind of keep up that national discussion about Arizona State? But all of that and so much more on the other side of this break.
Hey, Totri.
Hey, Rubus.
Do you need a checking account?
Always.
Do you think 1 million people is a lot of people?
I think that's more people than I could probably count.
Yeah, well, Mountain America Credit Union not only has a checking account that works for you in my style checking, but also they're committed to helping their more than 1 million existing members over their 100 branches throughout the West. Listen, the My Style checking account works for you with things like mobile phone protection, restaurant deals, offers on travel and events, loan rate discounts, telehealth access, and more. It's literally a checking account that works for you to save your money and give you new experiences. So make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration and activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Circle K!
Amen.
That's it. That's all I got.
Hallelujah.
No, I'm just playing for you.
I went to Circle K yesterday.
And did you save some money on gas? A ton of money on gas.
What a fun question. Well, Totri, in case you didn't know, I'm a member of the Inner Circle.
And how did you sign up?
Really complicated, super
really
expensive.
complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to download an app and put my phone number and email.
And that's it. That's literally all you had to do.
I didn't have to pay a damn thing.
Look, when you are a member of Inner Circle, which is, again, Circle K's free membership program, which Rubus just told you could sign up in the next 30 seconds, you're going to save money every single day on gas. In your first 5 fill-ups, save 25 cents per gallon. But that is not all. The deals that they have going on at Circle K right now are pretty ridiculous. You can get a 79-cent Polar Pop, a 99-cent Froster. You can get 3 for $7 when it comes to Ghost energy drinks.
That's all you do.
Literally 3 for under $6 on 28-ounce Gatorades. They've got exclusive flavors. They've got so much going on with Inner Circle. Circle K also has other promotions. If for some reason you don't want to be a free member, they're going to hook you up with some other stuff as well. But join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
God.
Also, while you're signing up for things
that are free
and that are awesome, how about you head over to gophnx.com/newsletter and you sign up for PHNX Daily. Shout out Patrick Brown, who does the PHNX Daily newsletter. The biggest news going on in Arizona sports going to be in your inbox daily at 6 o'clock in the morning. And guess what? It's completely free. Completely free. Stay up to date on everything going on as it relates to Valley Sports, everything going on here at PHNX as well. It's awesome. It's great. Patrick is awesome and great. Go phnx.com/newsletter.
And it's diverse as well, as in like you get all the sports, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, some outlets will just be like, hey, it's just football, right? And trust me, there's football, there's NFL, but there's Arizona State and there's non-major like, football, baseball, whatever it is. It's topics about everything. That's Arizona sports. And it helps you be well-rounded. And there's so many fun storylines with the Mercury, right? With the Diamondbacks, if you're not a big baseball fan. ASU hockey is talked about a lot in there as well. Like there really is so many different angles that you get that you're not getting on shows, and it's literally free.
It is.
I think there's a good point in the chat.
Go ahead.
We're talking about the peaks for quarterbacks in these schools, right? But there's arguments that these quarterbacks were not the ones that really paved the way, right? They're the ones that were built up to. Williams says Lawrence was put at the helm after most of the grunt work was done at Clemson by Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. And then Glenn said the same with Mariota. I remember Joey Harrington making Oregon fun to watch.
Yeah,
right?
I think, again, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying with Sam Leavitt, is that the type of player that we have to hold him to? Because he would be like the first one. And does he lead the way?
Plummer was the first one.
No, but in like this era, right?
In this era?
Like you're starting from scratch right now.
Yeah.
Right? Plummer paved the way before, and then Arizona State had a good run, and then they dropped the ball, and now they're trying to work back up.
I think
it's like starting from scratch.
Well, I think, and again, in today's day and era of college sports, the athletes are completely different. So when people say, oh, like Deshaun Watson did it first at Clemson or Harrington did it first at Oregon, I think when we're talking about Arizona State, I think it's going to go back and be like Cam Scatteraboo did it, right? It was Cam Scatteraboo and then Sam Leavitt. Like it's not necessarily.
But there's going to be overlap.
There is going to be overlap, but I think that's is what could separate Arizona State from these other programs.
So Sam Leavitt, you're saying, Well, actually, this might be like, depending on how good he plays, he might fall into one of two categories.
Yeah.
He might fall into the categories of, hey, the really, really fun, really good player that, helped this team come out of nowhere and get put on the map. Or it might be, this is the player that elevated to number one status in the country after Cam Scatteraboo and that initial team that he was on helped put them on the map.
Yeah.
Right. If he's really good and the team is great and there's great team success, he'll fall in that first category, which is no bad thing. If he's all-time elite, like Marcus Mariota, like Trevor Lawrence, as far as individual seasons go, and the teams are there too, then he is what was built up to.
Yeah. I would agree on that one. And as it relates to Deshaun Watson and D-Hop at Clemson, they did have really, really good seasons. They didn't go undefeated, though. No. Trevor Lawrence as a freshman, he went undefeated and won the national championship.
I don't think the argument is that Trevor Lawrence maybe didn't do more, but more the argument of like
at a different height.
Right. So it's like, who was first?
Yeah.
Right.
First was Deshaun Watson.
And we're talking about putting Arizona State on the map. Like, we are in the beginning stages of this.
Yeah.
Right. Like, again, this is early.
This is a different era now that we are in.
Agreed.
So I think that also plays a little bit into it. Joseph saying the talent will never be the same. We have to watch the skill just apply. Not really sure what that means.
The talent will never be the same, as in like no two eras will be the same, so compare them against their skill level. I don't know.
I guess kind of like the whole apples to oranges conversation.
Maybe.
Really
I mean, it's what are we talking about on an individual level versus like a big picture level, right? Because big picture, this is the beginning for Arizona State. If they're trying to be put on the map, like what Oregon, did even after Joey Harrington, but also after Marcus Mariota, because more time has passed since then. And we've seen Oregon still continue to compete at, a high level. Clemson at certain points, even recently, has been a good team. They haven't been among like the elite.
I mean, if you look at Clemson, and again, when we're talking, I don't want this to just turn into, they have to be competing for a Natty and Big 12 championship every year.
I agree.
But if you look at, Clemson, right? 2018 to 2020 is when you had Trevor Lawrence there. Okay?
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, same thing we did with Marcus Mariota. 2018, they went 15-0, won the national championship.
Yep.
The second year, 2019, 14-1, they won the Fiesta Bowl and lost the Natty. Final year, 10-2, they lost the Sugar Bowl. Right? And remember that 2019 season, they ran into Joe Burrow and an LSU team that was just unfair. But since then, right, and we'll get back to exactly what Trevor Lawrence did. Since 2020, you had them go 10-3, win the Cheez-It Bowl, 11-3, lose the Orange Bowl, 9-4, win the Gator Bowl, and then 10-4, and they lost in the first round of the college football playoff. Like, every year except one, they've been a double-digit win team.
Right, but they're not like, competing at the same level.
No, they're not
they were
1, 2, or 3 in the country. Right.
And we saw Oregon, this past year, be at that height and be.
They were the number one team in the country for a good chunk of time.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, but more time has passed. They've had the more ebbs and flows and whatnot with Oregon. It's just an interesting conversation because I think a lot of it is on the table. William says Sam has the chance to cement ASU as a considerable national threat. Will pass the torch to either Butter or Fett to take ASU to the next level like Lawrence did. There's a chance, but also there's a chance that Sam Leavitt is just better than those two. Now, it's also vice versa, but Sam Leavitt, we all agree, has the potential to win the Heisman. We all agree Sam Leavitt has the potential to be the number one overall pick. By saying that, by default, you have to say that he has the potential to have an all-time great college football season.
He does.
We know he has the tools. We know he has the talent. We know what the expectations are, and this team's going to have a spotlight to do it. This will not be the same media coverage as this team got last year. And I know we joke about the Arizona and Arizona State thing and how stupid it is and the disrespect in the polls. If Sam Leavitt goes out there and has a season on par with some of the greatest quarterbacks in college football history, it's going to get talked about.
It will.
Arizona State's getting talked about way more than they were before. Sam Leavitt is in every single quarterback article, conversation, PFF grade, whatever the hell it is, either looking back at this last season or looking forward. If they go and they do this, it will be covered on a massive scale.
Yeah. Well, right? Yeah, it would be the peak of college football, right? That's when Oregon was doing it. Everyone was talking about Oregon. When Lawrence and Clemson were doing it, everybody was talking about right Clemson.
And you might just get to that faster because is that not the Arizona State way as of late? It's, hey, the next step, as hard as it is to go from bad to good, from bad to great. It's even harder to go from like great to all time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just, hey, you know what, man? Sam Leavitt's second year playing. This is one of still Kenny hasn't coached for 5 whole years yet. And they're in the national championship game. They have a number 1 pick put out there. Like that is absolutely 100% on the table.
It is
this year.
It is. And we went through what Mariota did, right? Which is, I mean, peak. It's in the conversation for all time, just greatest college quarterback, point blank, period.
Yeah.
And then you got Trevor Lawrence, right? There are levels to what these two did. Now, Trevor Lawrence won a national championship. You had Marcus Mariota didn't. Marcus Mariota won the Heisman. Trevor Lawrence didn't, right? Trevor Lawrence, as a true freshman quarterback, threw for 3,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. As a sophomore, he threw for 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. As a junior, 3,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. In terms of rushing, he wasn't as dominant on the ground as Marcus Mariota. He had a combined 18 rushing touchdowns throughout his entire college career, just short of 1,000 rushing yards. And again, we went over Mariota where it's like 2,100 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns that one year. So there are levels to
it's team success versus individual success.
And that Clemson team overall was better than that Oregon team, especially on defense, right? That defensive side of the ball for Clemson was really good.
And William and Glenn in the chat saying, well, because they could recruit, because they were already good.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And so does ASU see the fruits of what Sam Leavitt does this year? And we love the situation that Sam Leavitt is in, but is the situation that Fett or Butter or Cam Dyer or a transfer or whoever it might be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, when we presume that this is still Kenny running the program and holding it to the standard, is it at that point that you get a quarterback who's just as good or a similar level as Sam, but the infrastructure is even better?
Yeah.
Right. And that's really what takes it to that next level of, hey, we're having a national championship level season, right? What's the ceiling for this team individually from a player perspective and collectively? Joseph says national championship or Heisman Trophy winner. They're on the table. They're going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to do those. You are not going to be a favorite in those.
No, absolutely not. And these guys, again, like they had to go take it, right? Marcus Mariota, especially when you look at today's quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota was an undersized quarterback, right? So dual threat guy and this is me just going off top of my head, like it was in terms of quarterbacks that really revolutionized the position. I think you first off talk about Tim Tebow and the way that Florida offense with Urban Meyer. And then like realistically after him, I don't know if I'm missing anybody, but guys that could do that type of stuff, Mariota was right after that, right? Mm-hmm. You obviously had Deshaun Watson at Clemson, but he wasn't really, again, based off of what I remember, like the most dual threat guy in the world, right? He was nowhere near what Marcus Mariota did at the college level. And then you had Trevor Lawrence, who we know can run the football, but doesn't necessarily do it to the way that Mariota did, right? So we've seen Sam as a dual threat guy. We saw him make defenses pay last year with his legs. I think he's got to do it more this season if he's going to get ASU to those new heights, right? And that's what it is. It is new heights. I think a Big 12 championship again is awesome. I think a college football playoff appearance again is awesome. I think it goes a long, long, long way. Glenn's right. Manziel was definitely in there as well.
Dude,
and Michael
Johnny
Vick
Manziel.
too. Michael Vick though was like a little
too long ago to be. I feel like
he also stood kind of like on his own, like that.
Yeah,
Michael Vick, what he did was so just different that you can't even really bring that up. Also, just didn't expect to see Michael Vick and Johnny Manziel's names in the chat today, but you're right. You're 100% right.
Deshaun Watson's rushing numbers: 14-15, just 200 yards on 63 attempts, but he only played 8 games. 2015-16, 207 attempts, over 1,000 yards, 1,105 yards, 12 touchdowns, long as 63 average, 13.8
yards per carry. Wow,
yards per carry.
So I was wrong on that.
And then 2016-17. He rushed for 629 yards, so significantly less, played the same amount of games, rushed about 50
So what was his
less
career
times.
Career total?
Career total yards would be about 2,000.
2,000, yeah. Mariota had 2,229 rushing touchdowns. Mariota also caught 2 touchdowns.
And 29 touchdowns. Deshaun has 26, but again, he played half of his freshman season, and he only started. Well, he played 8 games and he only started 5.
Regardless, right? When we're talking about what Sam Leavitt has to do, like I think when we're talking about elevating this program, because last year was great. And yes, the program went from bad to really, really good. Like you said, it's harder to go, I think, from it's harder to go from good to great than it was to go from bad to good, right? Or from bad to above average.
Yeah.
Right. So for this program to take that next step, you don't have Cam Scatterbo anymore. Everybody knows, what type of team you are. You are the favorite to win this conference again. You got to go do it.
You have a Heisman candidate that, it's not going to be easy for him to win, but he is certainly in the conversation.
Yeah, he is
Without
certainly.
a doubt.
I don't think he has to win for ASU to be amazing.
Conversation. No.
He does have to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, though, I think, to continue this whole conversation of like, where does national media, like, if you want, and again, I want everybody to go back at that period in time where it was Marcus Mariota. Think about all of the coverage, right? That, like, if we're talking first or second overall pick, I remember that conversation. It was Florida State, Oregon, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota. Every single day, that is a conversation on ESPN. That's a conversation on NFL Network. That's a conversation on Fox Sports, on CBS Sports. Like, it is an everyday thing the moment the season
LeBron
wraps
versus
up.
Michael Jordan.
Exactly, right? But we're in May.
The 100 people versus Gorilla. No, I'm kidding.
And then same thing with Trevor Lawrence, right? It was like, okay, Trevor Lawrence is going 1 overall. He was going 1 overall, whatever.
It was decided when he committed to Clemson, he was going number 1 overall.
And that's the same thing now with Arizona State. Like, if you're going to go out there and have a phenomenal season, and if you want national media, if you want recruits, I mean, recruits are watching these sports channels every single day, right? That's recruiting. That's free marketing. It's free advertising, right? We say hashtag no free ads all the time. But if you love something, right, that you're wearing, that your brand that we don't have, you're still going to wear it regardless, right? That's a free ad every single day. So when the season ends for Arizona State, which hopefully it ends with a national championship, and you have NFL Network, you have ESPN, you have CBS, you have all of these major networks talking about, Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt, Arizona State this, Arizona State that. It's free marketing, it's free advertising, and it's free recruiting for Kenny Dillingham and these major prospects that all they want to do is figure out where they're going to go to college and play college football, right? You have to be in that conversation. Otherwise, you miss out on that. You miss the mark on that entire piece of free recruiting.
Yeah. You were cooking there. I'm not going to lie, right? You were cooking. But the only thing that was going on in my head over and over again when you kept on saying free marketing was, psst, it's free real estate. Like, that was just going through my head.
That's all you had,
over and over again. No, but you're right. You're right. And that's why this season we've said it so many times. It's got to become like a phrase for the season. Sometimes we do like the playoff phrases when we're covering sports or whatever. It'd be like, what is it? Like something about it being like a tipping point for the program.
Yeah.
Right. Like, is this season the most important season in Arizona State football history? Because
I feel like we put that on a YouTube headline before.
Yeah, but I think it's true, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you cementing yourself? Like, I'm not going anywhere, right? We are here, and we are more than just Cam Scatterbo. We are more than just Sam Leavitt, even though he's really great. The recruiting class is in the top 10, right? At that point, you would hope. Then the next recruiting class might get better. Then you start getting transferred. Like, are you announcing to the world that you are a force to be reckoned with no matter what? Or are you a really good top 25 team? Or are you a one-year flash in the pan disappointment?
Who's a really good top 25
Everything is on the
team?
Table.
That is just like, they're never great, but
Iowa
they're
State.
always really good.
Iowa State for the last couple of years.
I would say even more so, I would say like an Iowa. Like a team that every year is like solid. They can't play. I don't know what it is.
Except
total
for that
side
one
note.
game.
That
one game this year, they put up like 40 something.
Total side note. Like, I don't know what has to happen. I don't know how much corn has to be shucked for those in Iowa to learn how to just have a spread offense. I really don't understand like why that team is incapable of playing offense. They play great defense. Do you have an answer, Noah?
It's Big Ten football.
It is Big Ten football. It is Big Ten football.
USC and UCLA said, need that.
Yeah. Big Ten football is also so different now, though, with like these new schools, but it does feel like these teams are like far more spread out, right? You have Washington, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn. You got some fun teams in that conference, man. Some really fun teams in that conference. And yeah, I was just always going to be like fringe top 15 every now and then, but never, ever will Iowa win the Big Ten. Ever. The last time they were in the Big Ten title game was against Michigan, right? A few years ago. And their over-under on points. Do you know what their over-under on points scored was?
11.5.
Let's go 10.
Half a point.
Ooh.
It was over under 0.5.
No.
Yes.
No,
it was.
not.
It was. And you know how many points they scored in that game?
0.
0.
No way.
They got shut out in that game
don't remember
against
that.
Michigan. Yeah, it was Harbaugh's Michigan. They don't know how to play offense, man. I don't know what
crazy.
it is.
It's like a prereq. Like you have to have extensive defensive knowledge, but you cannot know how to put the ball.
I really do not know
six.
what goes on at practice there. Maybe they just practice defense, but it is just gross to watch. We'll bring it up Wisconsin. That's an interesting one too. An interesting program. Utah is definitely in there as well.
Sure,
Normally
Utah.
year over year, a really good program, but never makes that jump.
That peak.
It's that jump, right? It's going from, like you said at the start of the show, it's going from good to all time, or going from good to great to we're here.
They went from bad to great in 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. They took the steps within it. They went from bad to wow, maybe better than we thought, to good to really good to great.
But do you
all
take a
within
step
1 year.
down?
All within 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I think we coined this. The 2025-2026 Arizona State season, the most important season ever.
Yeah.
For Arizona State football.
This is where legends are made.
No, not even trying to like mess around. There is so much on the table as far as what is the future of this program for this specific year. You flame out, you pull yourself in Arizona and have one good year, and then for some reason just fall and collapse and have that happen when you don't have the turmoil they went through. You're a joke. You're a flash in the pan. You've lost all the goodwill you earned last year. You're a Cam Scadaboo merchant. That's path number one. That's path number one.
Yeah.
Path number two is you're good. You're competing in the Big 12. Maybe you make the Big 12 championship. Like you're a good team, but you're not dominating, right? You're not like dominating, but you're like, okay, top 25 team. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Then there's hey, we're a top 10 team in the country. We came in here and we are putting our foot down. We are dominating. We are favorites in the Big 12. Sam Leavitt is a Heisman candidate. Like we are damn good and everybody knows it, right? And you have an all-time season. You win a college football playoff game and now you're like, oh crap, Arizona State is here.
They're here, yeah.
Like, and then next year the conversations are not, we think Arizona State takes a step back because it's without Cam Scadaboo. It's after putting Sam Leavitt number 1 in the NFL draft, Arizona State.
Who's next up?
Arizona State is looking for their next quarterback.
Yeah.
Here's Cam Dyer, the 2-time Gatorade New Mexico Player of the Year, right? Here's Jake Fett, top 10 quarterback in the country out of Texas. Here's a transfer quarterback that they get because they just competed in the national championship, right? Like there's so much that can change on the next 5 years of Arizona State football based on how they do this
one
year.
Season.
It's the most important season in school history.
Glenn says, ooh, I want that last path, Erik, not the Tucson.
Yeah, we all want the last path. Nobody wants the
Tucson path is awesome. Put that on a shirt. My goodness. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. You hit the subscribe button. We still have Hot or Not, and we're going to wrap up this Sam Leavitt, Marcus Mariota, Trevor Lawrence conversation on the other side of our final break. Look, before the show, Rubis was just up in arms and so excited that we have a 3-day weekend. And on the other side of a 3-day weekend is, of course, the 4-day work week. And somewhere in between right there is going to be Rubis on his couch enjoying some pure edibles. And I hope you guys can all follow suit.
Do you have a camera in my home?
Potentially, yeah.
How do I look?
How do you look?
Yeah,
well, you look happier when you have pure edibles in your system.
It's true.
But who wouldn't be happy with a little bit of pure edibles,
take
guys?
Notes of like what you see?
I don't take notes. You're
back to pure edibles.
Thank you. Look, pure gummies, they're not covered in sugar like all of their competitors. I know we've all been there. Me, Noah, Rubis here. I've taken edibles that all taste just too much like weed, okay? But pure gummies, they don't taste like weed. They taste like candy. They're not covered in sugar. They're literally a full-fledged candy company offering gummies. Kicks, their version of Starburst. Chews, soft candies like caramel, and of course, those hard candies as well. Make sure you go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Oh, all-time ad read. right there. You know, when you're watching me in my home with your secret cameras, you probably see me hit a floor lay every once in a while. And if you need to hit a good floor lay, we always recommend Empire Today. But on the real, if you're looking to make a massive change to your home, like new flooring, Empire Today is the easy choice because it's not like these big box stores. They're giving you clear, upfront, all-inclusive pricing. They'll get precise measurements taken and they're free in-home estimate, and you can start installation as soon as the next day because they actually care about you. And if all that sounds great, how about we give you $350 off for listening to us speak?
$350, huh?
You're welcome. $350 off. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better off at home. PHNX listeners can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. Visit empireday.com/PHNX for full details. I think it's a funny comment from William saying, could you imagine the amount of 5-star recruits Kenny will deny after winning a championship?
I'm here for it, man. Glenn saying, I agree. Most important season ever. Are we pretenders or contenders?
We are coining that. We need to clip that. Like, that needs to be like all next season. Like, the most important season
ever
in school history.
We could probably churn out a pretty cool video.
Yeah, we could do that.
Doing something like that.
Should I get emotional and write like a letter? Like an open letter to the season.
An open letter to the season.
Like what this season could mean.
Okay, I'm here for it. No, open letter to
Should
Kenny
I
Dillingham.
start crying?
An open letter to Kenny Dillingham 5 years down the line.
Oh, we should make a time capsule.
I already did that. We should probably open the time
But like
capsule.
it'd be better to do it now.
Yeah, I guess
I don't know if I want to open the time capsule.
I put Bobby Hurley in the time capsule. To be honest with you, I tried to put him in there. Unfortunately, yeah, he's still out. Guys, again, make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, you drop a 5-star review.
Can't put Bob in the capsule.
Wherever you get your podcast. Rubens, the whole premise of today's show, does Sam need to be the Marcus Mariota? Does he need to be the Trevor Lawrence of Arizona State? Your final thoughts and answer to a question that has really taken over the program today.
Does he need to be as defined on like how we actually specify in this question?
Does he need to put up the numbers that those two put up
to hit the heights that those programs will reach and have reached? Yes.
Does he need to be closer to Lawrence or closer to Mariota? Because again, there is a pretty large gap between what Mariota statistically did and what Lawrence did.
Again, are we talking about putting Arizona State on the map for the future for the next 5 years? That's a national championship, right?
Well, Trevor won a national championship.
But are we talking about proving that Arizona State could produce the best quarterback in the country or one of the best quarterbacks in the country? But I don't think there's going to be a Jameis to a Mariota this year specifically. Lenore Sellers.
Arch Manning.
Yeah, media coverage. Yeah, probably.
That would be great, though.
That would be great. It would be great to be in that conversation. But, you know, is it one of those seasons, right?
Yeah.
They both help each other. Because if Sam's doing that, ASU's having a great season. If ASU's winning a national championship, Sam's having a great season. Those two things go hand in hand. But if we're talking about, do we want Arizona State to be the next Oregon and Clemson as far as who they are in the landscape of college football for the next decade? Then they need to have a Trevor Lawrence type season because it's more about what the team does collectively. If we're talking about maybe somebody who helped pave the way, have an all-time season, had a great season, maybe won a Big 12 championship, and, you know, but it's we put the number one pick in the draft and it's more of an individual player thing than it's more like a Mariota.
I'm here for it.
It all goes hand in hand. I would say overall, the national championship is the best case for everybody. If you're a national championship winning quarterback, you're going to get a lot of the credit.
Yeah, Glenn saying yes and no, not same exact numbers, but close to it for us to have success for the long run. But if it's to win now, then no. I think in terms of Arizona State being put on the map, for me, you need to win the conference again. You need to be in the college football playoff. Do I think that you need to, win a college football playoff game? No. I think if you win the Big 12 again, doing something that's only been done one other time, winning this conference specifically in back-to-back years, I think you've cemented yourself as a power in this conference. The way that Clemson has cemented itself as the power in the ACC, I think Arizona State can't do that, but it will require a second conference championship. And for that to happen, Sam is going to need to go off. He's going to need to have a really, really stellar season at Arizona State. I don't think he needs to put up Marcus Mariota numbers. I do think he needs to put up something similar to what Trevor Lawrence did at Clemson. I don't think the Heisman thing really matters that much to me. But again, if you're having crazy team success and you're putting up Trevor Lawrence numbers, then you're probably in that conversation. I don't think you need to win a national championship this year. I think that is, again, above expectation for what this team can do this season. Similar to last year, right? Where we set the expectations of like, okay, go bowling and it's a good year. They won the conference and went to the college football playoff. This year, the expectation, be in that conference championship game and win it. Right? Win the conference again.
Be in the college. To me,
that's all it takes though for me. That's all it takes for me.
And again, I agree because the timeline has been accelerated and that's all that they really need. But again, if we're talking about true elevation, you need to have one of those teams that is literally dominant, competing for a national championship, getting there, right? Like to be on that level as a program. Zach says Leavitt doesn't need to be that level because his program and what Dilly is doing is bigger than Leavitt. But Leavitt can accelerate the timeline.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point.
But I think you could argue the same thing about those other schools.
Yeah.
Like Clemson's
They
more
didn't do it by themselves.
No, Clemson's more than Trevor Lawrence, and Oregon is more than Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, but they had dogs on those
before
teams.
And after.
They
did, and they hit individual and team peaks that other teams and other players have never hit before.
Yeah, that year that Clemson won the national championship, not to cut you off, you obviously had Travis Etienne as a ridiculous running back. He rushed for 1,600 yards and 24 touchdowns. You had T. Higgins on that team. You had Hunter Renfrow on that team. You had a defense of Dexter Lawrence. You had Christian Wilkins on that defense. Like that team overall was you had AJ Terrell. My goodness, it was just a filthy defense.
And I agree. And there's a chance that we could look at this ASU roster and best case scenario, not that good probably, but
who was on that Oregon team? That's what I want.
But it's very, very good, and lots of players that are going in the high picks of the NFL draft. You're gonna look back on that team and be like, holy crap, a lot of those players played for ASU.
Wow, you had Royce Freeman is that old? Wow, I feel old. Royce Freeman was a dog at running back for Oregon at that time. They also had Devin Allen, former Brophy guy, track star. DeForest Buckner was a dog. Eric Armstead, I forgot they also had a crazy defense. I mean, it sets up perfectly, right? Because Arizona State is gonna have a crazy defense this year.
Sure.
Can never forget it, Sharon. Can never forget it. We'll never forget it.
There's a lot on the table. It definitely can happen. It doesn't need to happen this year, but if it does, it puts you on that path even more so.
Come on. I mean, it does need to happen this year. For me, I've been covering this team
No, I mean
too
like
long
winning a
for-
national
for it
championship.
to
I mean
not
like
happen.
winning a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I don't mean like winning the Big 12. I mean like being on the level of those all-time teams.
That's valid. It is Friday.
We got to give Lou Dort his flowers before.
You're right. We do got to give Lou Dort some flowers.
I can't get into hot or not without talking about my boy.
And
Sweet
it looks
Lou.
like Noah is going to be here for Hot or Not. We didn't know if
Yes.
Noah was going to be here, if the Deli Man was going to be here. So let's hope Noah's got
I
some
love
topics.
Deli Man's hot or nots, but I've never had a Noah hot or not before.
We do need to give some love to Lou Dort. I know somebody had it earlier in the chat. The former Sun Devil, all NBA first team defense. Obviously 2-0 right now in the
He's
Western
so
Conference
good.
Finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
First team all defense, man.
A player that played for
Our
Bobby
sweet baby
Hurley
boy.
at Arizona State.
I that was one of the years that I was covering the team and I was doing videography and I was, courtside and on the sideline, the baseline for games. And I remember watching him play. I thought he was an NBA player for sure. And I was shocked when he didn't get drafted. But this is best case scenario for his career.
Absolutely.
The spot that he's in to value his skills specifically.
He's got his contract.
He is getting a lot of attention and credit as well. He's absolutely Bobby's best player ever at Arizona State. Now, maybe you want to argue that while he was here and while other players are here, maybe their individual peaks at college,
ASU.
at the college level might be
Zylan
higher.
Cheatham's a good one, Glenn.
I miss Zylan Cheatham for sure. But losing that conversation, and I think if you say Lou Dort is Bobby's best player ever in college,
I'm not gonna fight you.
I'm gonna be like, you know what? I see the vision. Honestly, I probably agree with you. Watching the way that he played defense in college, obviously you look at some of the guards that Bobby has had over the years, and it's hard not to imagine some other players in that conversation. But Lou's there, and then NBA success. NBA success is not even close.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Yeah,
who's second? Josh Christopher.
It has to be. There's nobody else. Literally, there's nobody else.
Zylan Cheatham played some G League games.
Yeah, it has to
Rob
be
Edwards played
Lou Dort.
G League games for the Thunder.
It's Lou Dort. That's 100% it. And Lou Dort, again, he's on his way to winning a NBA championship potentially this season.
I will no comment on the dirty player allegations.
Dear Lord.
No comment.
Let's go ahead. Let's get to hot or not before we send everybody on their long weekend. Noah, you've been thrust into a unique position today.
See.
Behind the Mac. How are we feeling ahead of hot or not? I believe it's your second hot or not you've ever done on this program.
I got some good ones for you guys.
Good ones?
Yeah.
I got high expectations.
Let's see what we got for topic numero uno.
All right. Number 1, a fancy dinner with the homie/home gal/home they.
Fancy dinner.
Like we're dressing up.
With the homie.
Dressing up.
Not a date, though. It's with the homie.
Yeah.
I would say hot. I haven't done it, but if my friend hit me up, is like, yo, let's go get some nice food.
Let's get a fancy ass dinner.
I'd be like, you paying? And then I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure.
Huh. That's an interesting one.
I mean, who's not up for a good meal and high class?
I am.
They're saying not weak.
Look, I'm up for it. I'm up for the nice homie dinner. My thing is though, like where I'm at now, why wouldn't I just go have a homie dinner with my girlfriend?
You can have friends outside.
No. But I'm saying if my friends, I can go get like cheap tacos and be good.
Sure.
If I'm gonna go spend some money on like dinner,
no, but let's say like somebody like approached you, like, listen, I get it. Like a good friend won't make you waste money.
Like you're choosing your friend over your wife is what I'm hearing.
Okay, whoa.
That's what he just said. Whoa. No, that's what he just said.
I would take my wife on a fancy dinner first. Absolutely, without a doubt. If a friend approached me,
I didn't know you made that kind of money though, where you could just go fancy dinner after fancy dinner.
Maybe I have a different definition of fancy dinner. I'm living in like an ideal world too, where it's like,
how much is a fancy dinner to you?
Let's not talk about this. $15.
Oh, okay.
Noah, what do you think?
I think hot for sure.
Not all. If it's like the only way that you can hang out with your friends is doing that, then it's the least hot thing in the world. But like, if it was like, screw it, let's all just go get a nice dinner. Again, I'd ask who's paying, and then
you're splitting the bill.
Yeah,
or you pay for you, they pay. Pay for them.
I think Noah has to pay for me.
Yeah, why don't you guys go on a fancy dinner?
No, will you take me out on a date?
What's a fancy dinner cost to you though? Because that's like, I think a big part of this question.
Per person, including drinks.
70. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's about right.
Some people are like $175 per person.
I mean, I don't know.
This is a very big debate.
I'm going to say not hot. I'm going to say not hot.
That's fine.
It's just not something I would do.
If you're asking me what I would prefer, I would prefer like we go get some cheap food and then hang out and
like let's go get a couple beers,
let's go play
some tacos,
2K,
a burger, and let's call it a day.
And eat some French fries.
Yeah, I don't need to go have a steak dinner with my homie.
Let's just go do a 24-hour stream, something casual, right? That I would prefer 100% of the time, but the concept of what this is, I'm not opposed to.
You're up for it.
Yeah,
I mean, sure.
All right. I knew that one would be quite the discussion, so I'll give you guys more of an easy one.
Okay.
How about absolutely guzzling orange juice right after you brush your teeth?
What?
Oh.
Not hot.
I'm going to say, not hot. Do you like guzzling orange juice?
I mean, I do, but definitely not after brushing my teeth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody in the world.
That's like the worst thing to do.
That is like the worst thing to do. I also haven't had orange juice in a very long time. So... yeah, it's not hot.
Do you like orange juice?
I love orange juice. There's just a lot of sugar in it, so I don't drink it. Like a lot of sugar.
Yeah. Okay.
You should juice your own oranges.
I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that guy.
The guy is spending $70 on a fancy dinner.
Yeah. All right.
Bring us home, Noah.
Next one, windows down, radio turned up, but it's in 100-degree heat.
100-degree heat?
No AC, just windows.
Just 100 degrees?
Yeah, just 100.
I like it.
Yeah, that's
down.
hot. That's
windows
hot.
down,
That's
100%.
As long as you're driving, like you can't be like, stuck in a drive-through. My car for multiple years. My car for multiple years just didn't have AC here.
Really?
Yeah,
and
I drove a car.
Survived?
It was bad, but the things that I learned not to do, you can't go through a drive-through. Right, you have to take the most freeways possible, and on surface streets, It's better to drive slow and not stop at a red light for a long time than it is to speed and stop. You got to just have that constant airflow in. But if you're driving on the freeway, windows down just a little bit, air's coming in, you can survive in 115.
I think people really hate hot breezes, but I don't mind a nice hot breeze.
Yeah, again, the wind blowing is key.
Yeah, 100%.
I also
keep your windows up, you're psycho.
I like to let everybody know what I'm listening to.
Yeah, and you blast it way too loud.
Oh,
and
yeah.
For those of us watching
volume.
on TV, the party always continues over at gophnx.com.
Overtime will not last very long, ladies
sorry
and
to
gentlemen.
cut you off, Noah, but
Do you? Yeah, you're
Noah
saying
likes
this
to
is hot?
brag about his music taste.
Yeah, I have great music taste.
Noah,
I heard a song that you played the other day in the office. It wasn't good.
I have a unique music taste.
Yeah, it was definitely a unique song.
Noah has not turned on his air conditioning since he's moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Are
you serious?
Unless when my mom was in town, she turned it on. I did not like it.
You didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't
You
like
like to just be hot?
Yes. Also, I just, I need
Yes.
I need to like ingrain myself in the heat.
Oh yeah, because this is your first Arizona summer.
Yeah, so I just want to like absolutely kind of die. So then when I do turn it on, I'm like, this
You want to
ain't
have like an ego
too bad.
death, but for like temperature regulation.
Yeah.
You'll get there. I promise. The when you hit that 120, and it's like the only thing you could do is go in the pool. It's not great.
People who don't live here don't understand the difference between 100 and 115.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you lived in the cold, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
just like you don't go outside when it's that cold. You shouldn't really go outside when it's that hot.
People always ask me, "Why? How do you live in Arizona and you're not tan?" And I'm like, "It's 125 degrees outside."
You are like the color white, which
Yeah.
is
You said that really, really, really like firmly.
Sharon, I am from Detroit.
Oh my goodness, guys, that's gonna do it
What
for
a
today's
Friday
episode.
banger.
Just clap it up, man. Clap it up for everybody. Clap it up for Noah, man. You know what? It's great stuff.
Put her there.
Great stuff. Great job, chat. We appreciate you, Noah. Well done. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button on your way out. And if you enjoyed today's content, give us a follow on social at PHNX_Sun Devils. We got a ton of content coming out this week. We got some YouTube shorts throughout the weekend. We have potentially some Sam Leavitt, Jordan Tyson sound hitting your PHNX Sports YouTube feeds sometime Saturday during the day. We've got a trending that's going to be going out on Monday as well. So definitely make sure you're subscribed. You can follow me on social at Anthony_Totri. You can follow my passenger princess here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. And Noah, where can the folks at home follow you on social?
Skibbity Riz, Ohio based, all that.
All those things.
Yep.
Sure. Absolutely. Why not? Guys, have a beautiful and safe long weekend, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. But in the meantime, go Devils.
We all silly like the mayor.